and broke his leg. But you know, just that I've seen people, the compulsion, do all sorts of things to people, but it doesn't make, it's the compulsion, and it's as a result of the changes in the brain, because all or most substances that lead to addiction actually work on the reward center. Okay. So yes, it works on the reward center. So there's that feeling, that good feeling that comes, yes, that good feeling that comes from an achievement, you know, is usually associated with drug use. So somebody has strong drug use problem, and at some point it's like you just constantly go to use drugs. Every time I tell this, I'm reminded of a research that was done about these rabbits that they connected electrodes to their stimulating center, reward center, and every time the rats will press the lever by chance, it will stimulate that center, and they will feel this euphoric feeling. It is said that in that research, the rat just stayed there when he realized that every time I press this lever, I just kept touching, and died out of it. Touched, and just kept staying in that state. So that's what actually happens to the person who is struggling with addiction. Okay,
this year the theme, listen first, sounded odd to me. What does it mean in connection with drug use? Listen first.
Well, the goal of the United Nations, drug and crime, is constantly looking at prevention, because, like they say, every situation, two major things: prevention is better than cure, and early intervention is key in a fantastic outcome. You know, so. When it comes to the whole idea of listen first is that it's the first step to a safety environment, safety and healthy environment for children that will thereby or invariably lead to reduction in risky behaviors and drug use.
Okay, if people get to a point where they are now ready to help this individual and he or she is ready to go for the help, some problems arise. Most people don't want to, they don't want their friends or people to know that, oh, we have this problem. Is there a way whereby they can go and consult without blowing it out in the public, so to speak?
Okay. There is, there are a lot of centers, not enough, I must say, not enough centers. More and more people should get involved. And then also the whole concept of addiction, we need to also start addressing that. Because for a very long time, addiction has been looked at as a moral issue, and then because
they say it's a bad child who gets into all those things.
Exactly. So yes, the first attempt is usually as a result of your choice, for most people. But the repeated and persistent use at some point is not as a result of the person's choice anymore.
And of course, for some people, just one try and they're hooked.
Yes. So understanding that will change the way we even look at people who have addiction problem. We will no longer look at them like people who, yes, it's your fault and all that. They are going through. They understand that some people have lost everything. They know they have lost everything, yet they cannot stop. So it's not to look at them like you're a bad person. It's to see that that's why the whole concept today is that it's a chronic brain disease. It's as a result of structural changes.
Let me present to you a very real problem that parents will have. A child is addicted. However he got into it, they don't know. Nobody wants their child near him. So there's natural stigma. They don't want him to influence the next person to begin to take. And a lot of times that happens because, they might be able to funnel some money through this new user to continue their habit. So how is that addressed?
Well, like I said, it goes back again to public awareness. Everyday people use, and they sometimes hang around children who know they use, but they don't go ahead to use with them. I'm not saying that, that one of the major causes that leads to all this in the first place is peer pressure. So yes, it makes sense that if a child is using and a child is not using and the parent of the child that's not using is aware, they will tell their child to keep because it's very likely that other individual is going to kind of pressure that child to do that. But then the major things that people should seek help. I mean, first of all, parents should become more aware. That's why this year's theme is listen first. I mean, if we pay attention, listening, if we pay more attention, we'll be able to pick, first of all, we'll be able to pick when they are going through troubled times. Sometimes people go into it. I remember a recent case. He actually became depressed, and went into medication, into drug use. By the time it was being presented, it was, he's taking drugs. But it's actually the other way around. It's that this young individual experienced some form of depression. Then it led to him using drugs. So it's just paying attention. That's what the whole drive for this year is, that listen, pay attention. If we pay a little bit more attention, we'll be able to pick these things early and take people to the appropriate places. I also want to quickly add that it's a medical condition, so it needs some form of medical intervention.
Okay.
Yeah. So because research has shown, especially when somebody becomes dependent, counseling is not going to just one-off counseling. Let me put it that way. Not that at the end of the day, it's going to be some form of psychotherapy structured.
So the person has to be booked into a center?
Yes. Not when you say booked into a center, depends on the drug of use. Not all drugs that are abused or drug addiction leads to literal residential care. There's actually, for some kind of conditions, you can do outpatient care. But it starts with an assessment. So it starts out with the doctor has to determine, or the specialist or drug counselor has to determine what kind of care will be required for this particular individual.
Okay, this listen first. Is it the whole scope of prevention? Are there other ways to, some kind of assurance that a parent can actually prevent a child from even attempting in the first place?
Well, the best approach will say that it can't be the only. Even in drug treatment, there's not one way to treat this. You keep using various methods.
Okay, I'm going to have to stop you there. Okay. We'll go for a short break and continue from there. Stay with us. We're going on a short break. We'll be back right after this.